Hello and welcome back to the People Podcast. I'm Nasir Muhammad, founder of Ethos of HR. Before we get into today's topic, can we just talk about the weather for a second? Last week, I was talking about how the UK has suddenly decided it was Dubai. Sunshine everywhere. People digging out garden furniture they hadn't seen since last summer. Everyone convinced that summer has finally arrived. Fast forward a week, and we are back to rain, grey skies, and checking 3 different weather apps before leaving the house. In other words, Britain has returned to its factory settings. Now, this week's topic comes from a conversation I've been having a lot recently. Partly because I'm attending the AI Experience Live on the 16th of June in London, and partly because everywhere you look, someone is talking about AI replacing jobs, especially in HR. Apparently, AI is replacing HR advisors. It is replacing recruiters, HR business partners, HR directors. And at this rate, AI will probably be doing the weather forecasts as well, or probably it is already. But I think we're asking the wrong question. The question isn't, will AI replace HR? The better question is, how can AI help HR professionals spend more time doing what they were hired to do in the first place? Because that's where I think the real opportunity is. So let's be honest for a moment. Most HR professionals don't spend their days building workforce strategies and coaching leaders. A lot of the time, they're dealing with administration, creating offer letters, contracts, meeting notes, reports, policy updates, payroll checks, different styles of presentations, numerous amount of spreadsheets, and then a few more spreadsheets just to keep things interesting. Now, don't get me wrong. All of these things matter. I have done them throughout my career. But most people didn't get into HR because they were passionate about document formatting. Most of us joined HR because we wanted to work with people. We wanted to support people, develop people, build better workplaces. The challenge is that administration often gets in the way. And that's exactly where I think AI becomes incredibly powerful. Not because it's replacing HR, but because it's giving HR their time back. Now, let me give you a real example. At Ethos of HR, we're a relatively small consultancy. We don't have a marketing department. We don't have a content writer. We don't have a graphic designer, neither a social media manager. I am recording this podcast all by myself, so we don't have a podcast producer. Yet every week, we're producing content. We are producing podcasts. We're producing social media content, visual campaigns, updating websites, looking at our client resources, creating educational content. And then people often ask me, how do you manage to do all of that? And the honest answer is artificial intelligence, and specifically tools like Claude and ChatGPT. Now, before anyone panics, I haven't replaced myself, at least not yet. But what I have done is use AI to remove a huge amount of time-consuming work. And that's where the value sits. Now, let's talk about some practical examples. I use Claude extensively for reviewing information, whether it's policies, reports, large documents, research, brainstorming ideas, and also creating some structure for my projects. Instead of spending hours staring at a blank screen, wondering where to start, I can actually focus on reviewing, refining, and applying my own experience. Then there's ChatGPT, which we use extensively for content ideas, for our podcast planning, looking at our marketing campaigns, visual storytelling, all our social media content, looking at our website and giving us ideas how we can improve it. Even actually helping create images and graphics for some of our people focused campaigns. Now, the important thing is that artificial intelligence doesn't create the strategy, it doesn't create the experience, neither does it replace professional judgment. It simply helps accelerate the process. And then you've got Microsoft Copilot. Now, for organizations already using Microsoft 365, Copilot can be incredibly powerful. It drafts meeting notes, it creates email drafts, gives you presentation support, it summarizes all your documents, it gives you analysis of your spreadsheets. Tasks that normally consume hours every week can suddenly be completed much faster. And that gives people something incredibly valuable. That is time. One of the things I love most about artificial intelligence is that it's leveled the playing field. A few years ago, if you wanted to create an amount of content or have resources and have marketing activity we produce at Ethos of HR, you'd probably need multiple people. You needed a content writer, a researcher, a marketing coordinator, an admin person, potentially even a designer. Now, for many SMEs, that's simply not realistic. AI allows smaller businesses to operate in ways where previously only available to larger organizations with bigger budgets. Now, that's not replacing jobs. That's actually increasing capability. It's helping small businesses compete. And that's something I think we should be excited about. In many ways, Claude and ChatGPT provide more support to our business than a full-time employee could in certain admin and certain content creation tasks. Not because they're replacing people, but because they're helping people become more productive. Now, the biggest myth I hear about AI is going to replace HR. Personally, I don't believe that. I think AI will replace repetitive tasks. I think it will replace administration. I think it will replace some of the work nobody particularly enjoys doing anyway. But what AI won't replace is trust. It won't replace empathy. It won't replace judgment. And it definitely won't replace difficult conversations. AI can help you draft a disciplinary letter, but it can't sit in a room and navigate the emotions behind it. AI can create a redundancy consultation template, but it can't support someone through the reality of losing their job. AI can write communication, but it cannot create genuine human connection. And there is a massive difference between the two. Now, what does that mean for HR? I actually think this is one of the most exciting periods HR has seen in years. Because for decades, we've talked about HR becoming more strategic, more commercial, more focused on people. Well, this is our opportunity. If artificial intelligence can save us hours of time every week, what do we do with those hours? We spend more time with the employees. We spend more time coaching managers. We spend more time improving engagement. Spend more time developing leaders. Spend more time building workplace culture. the things that genuinely create value, the things that make organizations successful, the things that HR was always meant to focus on. Now, before everyone rushes off and gives artificial intelligence access to every HR process in the organization, let's be a little bit sensible. Artificial intelligence is a tool. It's not a replacement for professional judgment. It's not a replacement for experience. It's definitely not a replacement for accountability. And certainly not a replacement for emotional intelligence. The best outcomes happen when artificial intelligence and human expertise work together. That's where the real magic happens. So if you're listening to this and you're worried about AI replacing HR, my advice is simple. Don't compete with AI. Learn it, use it, experiment with it. Because the future isn't AI versus HR. The future is HR professionals who know how to use artificial intelligence effectively. And those who don't, the tools are here. They're improving every month. And if used properly, they can save an incredible amount of time and money. At Ethos of HR, they've become an essential part of how we operate. Not because they replace people, but because they allow us to focus on people. And ultimately, that's what great HR has always been about. Thank you for listening to the People Podcast. Take care. Enjoy whatever version of summer the UK decides to give us this week or the next. I will speak to you again soon. And remember, technology can automate tasks, but people still build cultures.